35 and you're still single and marriage is still on your bingo card, I need you to start looking for a divorcee, but not any divorcee, an upcycled husband. And I've talked about this before here on my channel, but I don't think all divorcees are created equal. We have the recycled husbands, they are divorced and they'll get married again and they'll make the same mistake time and time and time and time again. The upcycled husband is the husband that's learned from his mistakes. He doesn't trash his ex-wife. He acknowledges his contribution to the demise of the relationship. He sees where he can do better and is willing to do that better this time around. People always get mad, but second wives live the best lives.
She says second wives live the best lives, but we have some divorce statistics here. It says revealing divorce statistics in 2025. It was just updated November 20th, 2024. The third marriages have the highest divorce rate. Many people accept it as fact that half of all marriages end in divorce, but those who wed multiple times face a far higher rate of divorce. In fact, 67% of second marriages end and 73% of third marriages are dissolved. Okay, she's telling women that it's better to be a second wife. However, the percentage of divorce is actually higher, and who knows, she may have an underlying message to the women that are listening to her by saying, hey, if you get married to a second marriage or whatever, you have a better shot of getting divorced and getting half from your well-off husband. Who knows? That may be one of her points to marry and be a second wife.
Experience as a proud second wife. And you know what? This was always my lane. The first wife works really hard. She puts in the sweat equity. She's usually with him and has married him before he has reached his financial peak and prime.
What does that sound like? That sounds like waiting at the finish line. Shout out to Dr. Umar.
A big difference between the snow bunny and the African queen is the snow bunny will find a black man in progress. She will find him on the job. She will find him on the university. And that snow bunny will see a black man with potential and she will invest in him. She will help him level up. And then when the sisters see him 5 years ago, 5 years later, he's a millionaire. And the sisters say, look at that sellout. He went and got a white girl. But guess what? When he was looking for a sister to help him level up, to invest in him, none of them wanted it. You know why? Too many black women want a finished product. Because the big reason why these snow bunnies are running off with black men is they're meeting them when they have nothing, but they believe in their vision. And black women are waiting for him to cross the finish line. And by the time he crosses the finish line, the snow bunny done snatched him already.
And that's why a lot of our young black women don't want to partner with younger black men while they're on their way up, while they're progressing. We've seen that Washington Redskins football player proposed to his white girlfriend. That was all on, Shade Room, saying that, oh man, all these athletes marry as white women, but nobody highlighted the fact that that woman had been friends with that man since middle school, and she stuck by him when he was injured and took care of him when he didn't have a lot of funds. So they were saying, and then let me correct the black community for saying this. They'll say that, black women are not, they don't want to support black men while they're at their lowest. And nobody has ever asked people to define what a black man's lowest is. They're describing a black man who is simply young and he's finding his way before he becomes a 100,000-aire, a millionaire. So when the black community says black women don't want to support black men at their lowest, they're essentially saying they don't want to build with the young black man while he's making his way to being a quote-unquote high-value man or a high-earning man. And I think that's actually a negative on black women, to say that you guys don't want to support a normal young man.
And a lot of first wives get mad at second wives because they see us living the better life. But it's not even their fault. They just got with the man before he really came into himself. And most men don't hit their financial stride or real level of maturity until somewhere around 40, give or take a few years. So rather than being that first wife who's the training wheels wife sometimes, okay, some of you all are forever wives, okay, I get that, but we're talking about divorcees now, okay? Just understand that divorcees don't necessarily always come with the baggage that you think. A professional bachelor is more of a threat to you.
Here we go.
The man who's over 40, never had children, has never been married, has only had professional girlfriends for 5, 10, 6 years, 10 years or more. He's never been married before. I know you think that he has less drama and baggage, but he's actually the one full of baggage and drama.
So how are those guys the red flag? Everything that she described was actually a great thing. A man is over 40, he's successful, he don't have kids, he ain't never been married, he's established, professional. Why is that considered a bad thing? Because he has leverage and you actually have to qualify for those types of men and you don't want to compete? Maybe that's it.
Avoid him at all costs and please consider an upcycled husband. Not every...
Okay, so she's going to respond to a comment, but an upcycled husband is what she's asking women to go for, but she says stay away from the professional bachelors. But that is something that I'm very familiar with, and also it seems that a lot of women aren't familiar with the types of women that professional bachelors, as she likes to say, deal with. Those women are willingly signing up for that lifestyle. And Kendra G, her guest, is actually going to prove this, and also another guest on the Pop the Balloon show is going to speak to this as well. Some women are so focused on their career that they're not even worried about getting married. And they don't consider that losing because they're cultivating a successful lifestyle by working as much as they can to get to the top of the company. So those are the types of women that professional bachelors like to deal with. And so for some odd reason, women think that men are taking advantage of women by using them for a good time, going on a couple of vacations, spending some weekends together, but not marrying them. No, there are a lot of women who look for those types of relationships, and that's okay. So I think what needs to happen with, women in 2025 is you guys have to acknowledge that every woman isn't coerced into getting into situationships. The situationship won't work unless a woman agrees to that. And that's why I encourage men who do have it all together and they know that they have options that, hey, be honest and tell these women. You'd be surprised at how many women are career women and they openly say it on social media. And if that offends you, Black women, just take a look outside. Take a look on social media. There is a lot of women who pride themselves on being boss chicks. That's a term. Professional women, career driven. They will openly say that. I've done multiple live streams about these types of women. So when they say that they're single by choice, yes, they may be single by choice. However, they are having sex. They're not celibate by choice or whatever they want to call it. No, they're in between weenies. And that's simply what it is. Get in where you fit in and use these women for what they want because they damn sure ain't looking for you to be a husband because they got shit to do. They got to go to work. They got to go to Turks and Caicos. And they not taking you. They want to go on the girls' trips. But when she get back, she'll be calling again.
I be quiet. But when he leave, I be talking again.
And you just wait in the weeds and wait for that call. What you doing? Hey, I'm about to come out there. Okay, cool. And get her up out of there.
Single man is a professional bachelor. When I say professional bachelor, I'm really talking about men over 40 who have never been married, who are of sound mind, sound body, and a man of means. Now, if a man hasn't been married because he doesn't want to be married, period, and he says that straight out the gate, no problem, we're not talking about him. But this is the man who probably makes you feel like marriage is an option if you play your cards right.
That's a competition. You have to compete for a man, a professional bachelor who has it together. So she's saying that you may be dealing with a man who makes it think that he's marriage-minded, but you have to play your cards right, i.e. you have to qualify for this man. And a lot of women don't want to do that. They don't want to have to qualify for a man because they like to hide under the guise of he who finds a wife finds a good thing. You guys have heard this multiple times. So that's why she's saying it's a red flag because you may have to put in some work, some sweat equity to get into this to get on this man's program and to get access to his resources long term, i.e. marriage. So that's when men, we hear these types of messages. And if you are a professional bachelor, as she likes to say, you're doing everything right, because those women should have to qualify and compete in order for you to propose to them if marriage is what you plan on doing. So what she thinks is a bad thing, it's not a bad thing. You're doing everything absolutely right. So continue, brothers, professional bachelors. Let's hear it. Here we go.
Yeah. He thinks he's a catch because he's never been married before and he doesn't have any kids. So he sees himself as baggage free and as the catch. But it's interesting how society doesn't treat women the same. A woman over the age of 30 who's single is considered left over, passed over. Men often ask her, why are you still single? As a way to try to kind of get her to admit to her faults and say, well, I'm not single because something's wrong with me. Nothing's wrong with her. We give more value to the man who's single over a certain age than we do to women. And that's simply because these professional bachelors have learned to con the best years out of women without giving them any kind of commitment or security in return.
I hate when when content creators do this. They don't understand the difference between a 40-year-old man who has his stuff together and no kids and a 40-year-old woman who has her stuff together with no kids. They're going off of a woman's biological clock, a high-risk pregnancy at the age of 35 and up. That's what they're basically alluding to. So if you get a woman who is, 40 and up and she doesn't have kids, i.e. Ebony K. Williams, people are going to look at her crazy because of the fact that she had to freeze her eggs and she had her child like that, because she didn't have any kids before that. So that's why there's a difference. And also men who are childless and they have a significant amount of money, they are definitely going to be considered a prize. I know women are familiar with the old George Clooney deal, where he used to deal with women and he stayed a bachelor for a long time until he was ready to settle down. He played the field, he did what he wanted to do, and he was happy, and women adored him for it. The same thing applies to what she considers a professional bachelor. You guys are doing everything right. You don't have the necessary baggage that we talk about in these spaces, having multiple kids by multiple different women. You're not broke. You're not a dusty. You are well-established, professional. Those are all quality traits that women look out for. And also, women happily sign up to be on that type of man's program, no matter if he's offering marriage or not. Women will tell you that on their own. They will tell you that if a man has money, we will overlook certain things. They will tell you that if a man has money and he cheats on that woman, then she will kind of look the other way. Go on TikTok. They have a funny skit where women will, me walking in on my billionaire or millionaire husband cheating, and they kind of tiptoe out the room because they don't want to rock the boat because they get the bread.
Maybe they were out of that Hermes bag. How dare you not introduce me? Hi, I'm Haley. And you are even prettier in person than in pictures. My goodness. You guys need anything? You having a good time? I can go get us smoothies. Okay, well, you know what? I'll leave you two be. You kids have fun. And sweetie, try the left hand. Yeah, there you go. He likes that better. Okay, toodaloo.
Men and women are very aware of what they're doing. They're not coerced out of their good years to be on this type of situation. I promise you. A woman can leave anytime she wants. She is not there for no reason. If the money is good, she will stay.
These men have professional girlfriends that they've taken 5 years of her youth that she will never get back because she was still auditioning to be his wife when he has no intentions of probably ever marrying anyone, but he knows if he can pretend long enough that he wants marriage and that it's somewhere in the future, if he just finds the right one, he can get a lot of years out of you. They also tend to be very, very selfish. And again, they see themselves as the catch or the prize. Truthfully, it's the single woman over a certain age who is really the catch and really the prize, because she's the one who had high enough standards to learn and have the boldness to not settle in her 20s for just any and anything that came along because she wanted to escape society's pressures.
Of course, she's a woman, so she's going to lean towards women to try and give them some hope to stay single. And that's actually great for men who are over 40, no kids, and professional, because they get to use those women on the dating market. So she's essentially telling those women, you're doing everything right. You are actually the catch and the prize. Those women may not get marriage. It's highly unlikely that they will get marriage, but they will be useful to the group once they get up in age and they take care of everything. And those professional bachelors will find those women and they will partner for, short amount of time and send her back to the streets. But in her eyes, that's actually a good thing because she didn't let societal norms pressure her into getting married or having kids. Good on you for spreading that message, ma'am, because those women will definitely be useful to those single men that are professional.
Ladies, I am telling you, if you want to get married, you have to find the marrying kind. And the professional bachelor is more than likely a commitment phobe. A man who's been married before is more likely to be the marrying kind. Now, I know you're going to say, well, second marriages have a higher divorce rate. That's true. Anyone can get divorced at any time for any reason or no reason at all. However, you can only get divorced if you've been married. And if you're trying to get married, and we're not just trying to get married just to turn right around and get divorced, by no means. But if you're trying to get married and you want to get married and that's something that you desire, you've got to find the marrying kind. And the commitment phobic guy over the age of 40 is not it. And if you do somehow get that man down the aisle, he is going to dance on your head because he always believed that he was the prize and you weren't.
Essentially, she's covering all bases to demonize men no matter what they do. If they're married, they're bad. The relationship may not be good. The wife is struggling. She's a single parent in a marriage. If he's a bachelor who has everything together, he's bad because he may not marry you. And if he does, it's going to be a bad relationship. So I think what I've learned, and since we're in the new year, 2025, women are trying to cover every base to demonize men based off of their decisions moving through life. So if you're married, you're not good enough. Why are you talking about this? You should be focusing on your wife. If you're single, you're not qualified to talk about this stuff because you don't have a wife. You see how that works? So don't let that deter you from speaking your truths, man, making content, because no matter what, they're going to ding you for whatever situation that you're in. So professional bachelor, I would assume that that's better than being a dusty, than a man that doesn't have any money. So when a woman does look for a professional man, she's telling them to watch out for him as well. Who's left? And I don't think women like her ever address that with her audience. If you telling me to look out for every type of man, the man that don't have money, he's dusty. Don't deal with him. A man that does have money, don't deal with him because it's going to be a tough time getting him down the aisle, tough time to partner with him. And that's a red flag that he doesn't have kids because 54% of black men don't have children, have never fathered children. So those men are bad if they're professional now. So what's left?
Just some things to consider, ladies. I'm not telling you that you have to go out there and get an upcycled husband, but it's a consideration. The older that you get, just consider it. Just consider it. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm saying don't rule it out. It's not as bad as we think it is. In my 20s, I never would have considered a divorcee, but now look at me, proud second wife. Just some food for thought.
That's her overall message, to become the second wife, because she doesn't want women to build with a man or be a forever wife, forever marriage, forever husband. She doesn't like that. She would rather women wait until a man has been married before, when he was young, gets his money up, and that's when you slide in, as a little sexy young thing, and you marry this man that is now established. And the reason why I don't like this messaging, particularly to black women, is because black women already get married at the highest age, 32. So if now you're telling majority black women on your platform to wait to be the second wife, that's going to add some more time, because like she said, men don't tend to hit their financial stride until around 40 years old. Do you really think that 40-year-old man is going to be looking for that professional woman that's the same age as him? Probably not. So these are the things that women like her leave out, when they try and give advice to women. Tell them the good and the bad. And that's the main thing that these women they have to talk to women and tell them that you may be useful to the group. Like she said, she'll take some of your good years away, 5 or 6 years. No, he's not taking anything away. This is what you signed up for. It's simple.